Chapter 4. Arnold walked through the corridor. By now, servants should have been at their busiest of the day since the entire family had a tradition of having dinner together. However, someone was standing in the hallway. He noticed the person standing next to one of the knight statues. "Master, are you feeling all right?" Lauren appeared in front of him. She was holding a neatly folded shirt in her arms. "Please take this." She held the shirt out to him. Arnold looked down at his attire. Except for his pants that were still intact, his shirt lost a few buttons. He took off the shirt and took the one Lauren held out to him. "I received your schedule for tomorrow from Lady Victoria. Should I book a carriage to the Stalk territory tomorrow so you can meet with Earl Stalk regarding?" "Cancel everything," Arnold said after pulling down the shirt. "Pardon?" Lauren was confused by his flat answer. "Cancel everything on that list. Those duties aren't my responsibilities anymore. I'll ask my mother to attend in my place for tomorrow. Now that I have time to myself, I need to find answers. Are there more of me or am I the only one?" Arnold thought to himself as he walked in the direction of the dining room. Lauren followed close behind him. Is everything the same as the hero's DLC story? What happened earlier today where he met Luke was something that actually happened in the extra content that the company released. However, Non wasn't supposed to be part of the story until a few years later. Why did she get mixed into the story this early? Was it for convenience sake? It was like events happened that somehow changed the flow of the story. He wanted to know if the game's plot would follow the same story, instead of doing whatever is on that list. Arnold stopped in front of the dining room door. He could hear his family talk inside. He turned his head and looked at Lauren. "Have Luke ready to leave by tomorrow morning before the sun rises. There's somewhere I have to take him." That's odd. Just a few hours ago he was attempting to take Master Luke's life. "Understood. I will dutifully do so." Lauren didn't ask any further and agreed to follow to his order. "Before I forget, come to my chambers tonight when everyone is asleep." When Lauren was about to leave, she froze. Arnold's words made her body go stiff. "Must I wear the usual?" She forced down her pride and spoke through gritted teeth. "Don't be late." Arnold didn't hear her question and put his hand on the doorknob after that. Lauren wanted to say something but she decided to stay quiet. In his current state, if she got him angry then he'd do more than just hit her. "Yes, Master," Lauren said coldly before walking away. When Lauren left, Arnold stood frozen with his hand on the door. How did the original Arnold act after the fight again? "You bastard. You cheated by using a scroll. I want a rematch." Arnold yelled that to Luke over the dining table. It was a memory he couldn't forget. "Let's just be silent about what happened." Luke went through a partial awakening yesterday. Arnold figured that it must have been because he saw Non get hurt. She was the love of his life, so it wasn't surprising. When Arnold opened the door, many gazes turned towards him. All the chatter stopped. Non and Luke were sitting next to the Duke. The two were being questioned by the Duke about a lot of things before Earl showed up. Naturally, Arnold had to act pissed. His face twisted evilly. "Finally showed up, huh?" His older sister, Anna, looked at him with disapproval. She crossed her arms. "Do you have no shame for your behavior earlier today?" "Let's not talk about that, Anna." Marcus shook his head with a frown on his face. The boys settled whatever feud there was between them. "Right, Arnold?" "TCH. Arnold clicked his tongue when he saw that the only open seat was next to Luke. Luke seemed to have realized too. His eyes widened. I'm sorry. He bowed his head with his hands on the table. Arnold walked over to his seat and sat down. That was merely a fluke, all right? You were just lucky. He spouted the words they expected from a sore loser. Judith, the second wife, chuckled. Something funny? Arnold asked with a frown. She put her hand in front of her mouth and shook her head. Oh dear me. Forgive me. I just remembered a story my son told me the other day. It still makes me chuckle. She was a woman with black hair and red eyes. Her body was slim and fit. Sitting next to her was her son, Jack. He was a 10-year-old boy with the same hair and eyes as his mother. He was the second eldest son of this household. His baby brother, Thomas, was still a toddler. His mother was from a foreign nation's royalty. She was the 11th princess, so she wouldn't be expected gain much from the king. That was why she was married to the famous general known as the spear god, Marcus. Although not as with his father, Jack was also quite skilled with the spear. He was the only one born with the right qualities to use a spear. Melina, the youngest daughter who was Jack's age, was a magic caster and she was enrolled into a junior magic school before she goes to the academy. Anna wasn't a warrior or mage of any kind. Rather, she owned a merchant firm in the imperial capital. They were in charge of supplying equipment to the headquarters of the Adventurers Guild. Adriana, the first wife, was a mage who finished her stage 7 exams just last year. Meaning, she was a full-fledged 7-star mage. The stages represented the difficulty of a course in magic classes. 1 to 3 was the basic courses offered in magic schools. 4 to 7 was what was offered at the academy. It had been a grueling 10 years, but she finally finished what was known as the highest and most difficult of magic exams. She would start her first year as a professor at the University of Magic Arts at the start of next year. Adriana had long brown hair and green eyes. She was in her 40s, but her physique was that of a young woman. Anna had the same features as her mother, while Melina looked more like her father and Arnold. Although her blue hair was a lighter tone than theirs. What is to happen to Arnold, dear? Judith asked with concern on her face. Will he leave the family? Everyone stiffened. Rather than sounding sad about the situation, she seemed delighted instead. That smile made it obvious. I would never disown my son. Why would you think I'd do that? Marcus didn't seem to mind her question. Well, he has been causing quite a lot of trouble. I figured this would be best for everyone. You know, some of the citizens have requested us to send him away to a faraway land. Really now? Can you tell me who it is so I can deal with them myself? Arnold butted in. Calm down, son. As I've said, I will not go through such extreme measures. Luke is already successor. So what's the problem? Marcus couldn't understand why they were even having the discussion. He had already made his decision. As the head of this household, shouldn't his decisions be final? You have gotten soft, my lord. Where is that demon of the spear arts now? Sebastian thought to himself. Marcus continued speaking. If you have something to say, then be straightforward, Judith. Stop beating around the bush. I've known you for more than a decade by now, so I know you want to say something. Indeed. I have something to say. Judith stood up. She pointed at Luke. Why is it that this filthy commoner is inheriting the household and not my Jack? Mother. Jack looked at his mother in surprise. Quiet, Jack. This is unacceptable. Judy threw down her napkin in a huff and grabbed Jack's hand. This has been a pleasant meal, however, I have lost my appetite. She looked at both Luke and Arnold in disgust. She harumphed before heading for the door. Her attendants followed behind. Jack is still too young. He is only 10 years old. Luke is expected to turn 15 in 2 months, which would be the perfect time to announce my decision to the nobles. Judith stopped for a moment to take in his words. After clicking her tongue, she left. Adriana, who had been quiet this entire time, spoke. It's obvious that woman hates Al. Huh? Marcus sighed. I'll go speak with her later. This has escalated more than I thought it would. Marcus looked at all his children. I apologize for keeping quiet about Luke. But I want all of you to trust my decision. I am not asking this as the Duke of this empire but as your father. Me choosing him does not mean I will forsake the love I have for my children. Your positions have not changed. Melina, who was the youngest at 10 years old, spoke. Will Big Brother leave? She held Arnold's hand with moist eyes. No, Mel. I won't leave. He patted her head. Yael. But I need Arnold to do something. And this requires him to be away from home. Marcus explained. Arnold acted surprised. He already knew what would happen next. Adriana, Anna, Melina, Non and Luke looked towards the Duke. They awaited in silence. Even the servants perked up their ears to listen in. Son, Marcus looked at Arnold with a serious expression on his face. I want you to become the Lord of Whitech City. What? Adriana threw down her fork when she heard that. She stood up and shouted. Are you insane? Sending my son to such a city that your previous vessel failed to even save. See, calm down, Didier. Marcus tried to ease her anger by speaking gently. If one thing could cause the Duke to go depressed, it was being hated by his family. He might have been a mighty 9th-star spear user, but he was still a man who adored his family. No. I will not. You decided this without consulting me. He's my son too. Stop screaming so damn loud, mother. I accept, father. Arnold answered coolly. Adriana was taken aback by the lack of hesitation from her son. Usually, he wouldn't agree to anything right off the bat, even if his father told him to do something. See? The boy already agreed. Marcus smirked. Inside, he was actually happy that Arnold didn't reject his offer. What was weird was how Melina and Anna were still silent. Is something wrong, you two? Marcus asked when he sensed the tense atmosphere. Anna looked at him. Are you planning on breaking our family apart by sending him away on this crazy journey to save one of your cities? Are you going to be marrying me off as well? What about Melina? Will you agree for some foreign prince to get engaged to her? Oh, of course not. Ha 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 ha. Marcus laughed dryly. Both his daughters were looking at him coldly. They are really fond of their brother, huh? Marcus thought while smiling wryly. Adriana was looking at Arnold with a worried expression. Are you sure you'll be okay? Adriana asked. She held Arnold's cheek. Shouldn't be too hard. I've been learning about how to rule a city ever since I was 10 years old. I was fated to rule this city anyway. Arnold said proudly. In reality, he had no idea what to do to manage a city. Just because he transmigrated into a genius body, didn't mean he'd become a genius too. His only skill involved how to handle a conversation in order to get out of it. It was expected of an antisocial person. But that was okay. He knew what to do. I'll order one of my gunners to join you, Marcus said while cutting a sausage. I'll do it on my own, father. Huh. I'll find someone on my own. Arnold repeated his words. Are you sure? Marcus asked skeptically. That city will be operational in the span of 10 years. Arnold stuck out his chest. By the way, father. Arnold spoke again. HM. May I have some money? I'm taking Luke somewhere tomorrow. Emmy. Luke looked confused. It was the first time he had heard of this. Marcus looked suspiciously at Arnold. Don't worry about earlier today. I won't do anything to him. He lifted his hands in defeat. Then where are you going? Marcus asked. Surely not to a brothel? Everyone who knew Arnold's daily routine thought the same thing. What the fuck, Arnold? You seriously went to whorehouses? Liam was disgusted. No. I'm going to the auction house, he said calmly. Aha. Marcus finally understood why. So you want to buy him his first sword? First sword? Luke looked at the two of them. Arnold sighed heavily. Do you know nothing of noble customs, commoner? As in tradition, when a younger brother succeeds the elder brother, the latter is required to buy the former's first weapon. It is a symbol of sorts. The elder brother recognizes the younger one as a man. Since I am the eldest son here, I am required to buy one for you. Luke's eyes sparkled. Arnold cleared his throat. You won, so it's fair. Everyone chuckled. The young master being kind for once. Sebastian muttered. I could clearly hear that. But he could agree with Sebas. Ha 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 ha. Take as much as you need. Marcus laughed heartily. Who would have thought my son would change this much after one battle? Adriana also smiled. She was happy at the outcome. Arnold wasn't behaving as they thought he would. I'll kill you and your family if you don't fight me. That was his expected phrase. It was actually the same in the game. But Liam didn't want to waste his time to look like an idiot. What was the point? Although, Arnold did get the rematch he wanted. Since Luke was unable to use the Golden Aura release a second time, he was no match against Arnold. Nothing changed, however. Luke was still the heir after that. Arnold only got his petty revenge as he wanted, but that was it. The sword should be at the auction from tomorrow onwards. Today was Tuesday, which was the day Luke met Arnold. The following few days Luke went to an auction with the Duke. It was the same auction where Arnold was going to. To be clear, Arnold didn't take Luke to the auction house in the original story. The Duke had to do it. The sword was being sold there. If his estimates were correct, he had a few days before someone else bought the sword. If my predictions are correct, then my suspicions will be confirmed. Whether or not this was now his reality and followed the same simulation as the game, that sword would prove that.